Hi there. Today I wanted to talk about some terms that are commonly used within the real estate industry that you may know or may not know. So, as realtors, we get to talking and using the terms that we use often, but sometimes we need to slow down a little bit and explain everything to you. So, today I'm going to focus a little bit more on terms that sellers use while going through the selling process. So, one thing I kind of wanted to clarify a little bit just to get things started is the different roles of the two agents. So there's a buyer's agent and a seller's agent. So a seller's agent is someone who is representing the seller and working strictly to negotiate the contract, get the contract from list to close for the seller. And a buyer's agent, also known as a selling agent, it works directly for the buyer. So they're there helping them look for properties, negotiate the contract, and again, help them get to close with that. So one of the first things that we do when we are getting ready to list a property, a tool that's always been useful is using the MLS, which is called the Multiple Listing Services. And so that is a database that is allowed by agents and brokers to put in their listings so all the other agents and brokers within the industry can go ahead and find their property and make sure that it's getting out to all of their clients as well. Now, many of you may live in what's called an HOA, which is a homeowners association. So that is a governing body over your home, over the neighborhood at which you need to abide by. So that it can be a third party that manages it, or it is elective officials within your community to manage the HOA. So what they use is what's called the covenants, which is the driving force to show exactly what the rules and regulations are within your specific neighborhood. So that just allows them to say that you need to abide by these certain rules, what the rules are, and then usually it has a yearly or monthly fee that goes along with it. So if for some reason you're not abiding by the HOA can take further action against you, and if you're not paying your HOA fees, they can file a lien, which will not help when you are trying to sell the house. A very important document that sellers must fill out when they want to list their home is the seller property condition disclosure. So that is a document that is required, and it is also required that the seller must fill it out. So it just goes over the things that have gone on within the house. So whether things are working, not working, don't know or if it's not included. So it can go all the way through appliances, electrical, plumbing, sprinkler, age of the roof, age of furnace and HVAC system. And then also, are there any liens? Is there any government restrictions with the property? So it's just a very comprehensive document that buyers review and look at prior to them purchasing the property. Then kind of going through the listing procedure, there are different ways that you can do it. So many sellers may go ahead and want to mark the house in as-is condition. So what does that mean? That means that the seller is indicating that they do not want to make any repairs and they want to sell the home in as-is condition. Many times when you see that as well, it could mean that the house is potentially priced a little bit under market value just due to repairs that need to be made. Buyers may also see the house and make what's called a blind offer or sight unseen. So it's pretty self-explanatory. It just means that the buyers have not physically walked through the property, but they're still submitting an offer and getting that negotiation process started. As buyers are going through their process of the contract, there's a due diligence period. And so as a seller, you'll see it in the contract with what that period's going to be, what the time frame is. So what happens during that due diligence period is a multitude of many things. So that's really where the buyer elects to get any inspections, does any additional research, gets any surveys, things like that. So anything that would be part of the contract that they just really want to review and figure out and find out prior to actually purchasing, they would do that in their due diligence period, and most of the time that will also cover that home inspection period. Another contingency we may see in a contract is a home sale contingency. So that just means that the buyer has to sell their home prior to being able to qualify and close on the new home. So that can take a little bit of extra time, and there's usually more parties involved with that, but it's definitely something that we're starting to see as well. And so now finally, closing. So what does that mean? That is the final consummation of the actual deal. So that's when buyer and seller have signed everything, funds have been processed, and the house is officially closed. So I hope you found some of these terms helpful and useful. If there's any other terms that you've ever come across that you still have questions about, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to be able to talk to you about it. So look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.